Hey everybody, moving on with this Pop SmashEmUp series, we're going to take a look at who Suga would be if he was an X-Men. First, a little background on Suga. Full name, Xmen YOU. He was born on March 9th, 1993. Now Suga is a nickname given Yoongi as a sort of abbreviation for shooting guard, which was the position he played in basketball, which by all accounts he was rather good at. And also as a rapping alter ego, Suga records and performs as August D, which it's hard to see if you're not looking at the letters, but it's kind of DT for Daegu town where he was born, and then Suga, but backwards. Anyway, before BTS, Suga was composing and arranging music, rapping, performing. In fact, Yoongi auditioned for Big Hit's Hit It audition, and after auditioning, he placed second out of all of the rappers and landed a spot there as a trainee. He was eventually approached there by Bang PD himself, the head of Big Hit, who promised Yoongi that he would be a rapper in a rapper group with like little to no choreography and heavy emphasis on his producing ability. Yoongi accepted, and he was then introduced to Namjoon, and they became the core of BTS, which obviously changed direction as they formed and headed out from there. Now, Suga had a rough go of it when he was younger. His family was poor, and they didn't want him getting into music, so he would sneak out to sell songs that he had written, but often he'd get cheated and walk away with nothing. In fact, one of the times he was talking about growing up, he said he remembered that he had to try to buy a $2 bowl of noodles, and he didn't have enough money to take the bus home, so he had to decide between eating and getting home. Even after signing with Big Hit, it wasn't all easy from there. In fact, while still a trainee, before BTS even debuted, Suga was hit by a car in a hit-and-run accident while out delivering newspapers, and it tore up his shoulder. But he was afraid he might get let go because of that, so he kept the injury secret and just worked out, danced, performed as normal as he could, and just endured the pain. Nothing was going to disrupt his laser focus at being the best at what he does. So, after enduring, persevering, growing, and blossoming, we now see Xmen YOU in full bloom. He is charting across world digital sales as 3 different entities simultaneously, as a part of BTS, as August D, and as Suga, collaborating on songs like 8 by IU. Just a side note, like most ARMY, I was very glad to see Yoongi again, as he just recently finally had that shoulder surgery that he's been needing for years. Now, he missed quite a few appearances while recovering, and so I just hope his healing factor kicks in properly and he's fully well very soon. From my point of view, it seems like almost every time that Suga speaks, he was born to be a bias wrecker. Here's a couple quotes from him. "My specialty? Rolling around in bed on our days off. I'm really good at it. I'm not sarcastic, I'm just intelligent beyond your understanding. And it's alright if you don't have a dream. It's possible not to have one. Just be happy." Now, the more you watch the boys joking around, messing with each other, the more you'll start to notice Suga is the only one who they tiptoe around. He's fierce and they all know it. He reminds me of what you see like in nature documentaries when you have little bear cubs getting overly rowdy and playing around with each other, and then the mama bear just gives them that one look and they just kind of settle down. He does that with the other members, but at his core, under that gruff exterior, he's a softie, and he always has his teammates' back. He'll always be looking out for them. So, for Suga, the passionate, focused artist whose aim it is to be the best there is at what he does, while striking fear into foe and friend, I had to choose Wolverine. Wolverine is one of the most popular characters within the X-Men universe, and, no need to get into a lot of the basic ideas of who he is. However, I will say the version most people are familiar with is probably with Hugh Jackman playing the role, and the actual Wolverine, from the comics, Logan, aka James Howlett, he is relatively short in stature, and by relatively short, I mean very short. About 5'3" and so with Suga, while technically he's not quite the shortest member of BTS, they kid around with him being, the shortest or one of the shortest there. but he would be a full 6 inches taller than Wolverine. That being said, Wolverine is about 300 pounds, but almost half of that comes from this adamantium metal coating he got, throughout his entire skeleton. So he'd be a bit more dense than Suga. But anyway, those are just the surfacey things. What I really want to get to is more of the aesthetics and more of the subtle differences and similarities that we see with Wolverine that would connect him to Suga. I feel if we're just talking about the general feeling and tone of Wolverine and Suga and trying to see where I might be coming from on that, I would direct you to watching the latest August D single, Dichita. There we see Suga playing these dual roles. One is this kind of rebel good guy, and the other is a violent ruler. And you can see some of that dual nature that you see reflected in Wolverine as well, where he's been the hero, he's also been the mercenary. He's killed people, he's protected people, just multiple different sides. And just a side note, Dichita might be my favorite song from all of the different members' side projects, and there have been quite a few mixtapes, everything. I just love it, from the video production to the song itself, and the performance is just mesmerizing. I love it. Anyway, getting back to Wolverine for just a second, he does have a spectacular healing factor. It's one of his primary mutant abilities, so he can withstand and recover from just about anything anyone could possibly throw his way. Now, metaphorically, you do see this with Suga as well. And he's received a lot of criticism from when he was young and first starting out, all the way up to present times. Although the worst may very well have been back when he and RM were heavily accused of being sellouts when they left the underground hip-hop scene to join an idol group. There's many videos you can find of them with interviews with various radio stations and personalities in the early years of BTS, where both Suga and RM were just insanely disrespected. It's actually kind of infuriating to go back and even watch now, knowing how far they've come. But they kept their cool, and they attacked back via music and success, and let their haters know that they lost. In fact, listening to the different cypher tracks that BTS's rap line has released is kind of the musical equivalent of seeing Wolverine fly into a berserker rage, and Suga's verses in particular have a certain rhythm and flow that are just as masterful as they are violently impactful. Now, another aspect of Wolverine's character that made him this perfect fit for Suga is the way they both have dealt with struggles with mental health. Now, Wolverine has had a number of issues that are tied to memory loss and struggles with anger and depression and different dissociative disorders that are tied to these. Whereas Yoongi has been very open, especially in his music, about dealing with depression, with imposter syndrome, with thoughts of suicide, feelings where when he has the highest of highs, he can't help but think about how he could just lose it and it could just all be gone. Now, in both cases, both with Suga and with Wolverine, they found friends and family and mentors and work that helped them get through the darkest of their struggles. They've come out the other side even sharper, more content, and more self-aware than many others who have never really gone through even quite as much. And one final point, again, just to emphasize this, we talked a little bit about it before, but with both Suga and Wolverine, they can come across as rather intimidating, and you certainly don't want to get on their bad sides. But they also have this warm and gushy center. In both cases, you see sort of this mothering aspect where they do take care of others. They pull people under their protection and do whatever it takes to encourage them, to keep them safe, and to look out for them. So, being wildly talented at what they do, being fierce predators with hearts of gold, healing from any hurts thrown their way, and victoriously battling inner demons, check, Suga is Wolverine. So how did I do here? Drop a comment if you agree, or if you have a better fit, I want to hear. Now, up next is J-Hope. If you want to get notifications when these episodes are going to be released, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching. I'm having a blast with these. Until next time, we'll see you in the next episode.